Have you ever uh, dreamt of achieving something that seems completely impossible? Today, we're diving deep into this really fascinating world where people claim they can, well, bring their desires into reality. Often in some pretty surprising ways. You hear different names for it, right? Manifestation, the law of attraction. Some even call it mind control or brain control.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's really compelling when you look across all these different sources we've gathered is that core idea. It keeps coming up. It's about using, focused thought, really strong belief, and this powerful expectation to actually influence what happens in the real world.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is to explore this huge stack of real-life stories, testimonials, personal accounts. We want to uncover the specific techniques, the mindsets these people say help them get these big wins. We're talking lotteries, jackpots, dream cars, even new jobs showing up out of the blue.
Right.
We're going to unpack how they claim they turned these like impossible wishes into actual tangible results, hopefully sparking some aha moments for you too. So let's start with how people see their success first, like the mental blueprint. It seems like a lot of these accounts really emphasize, vivid mental pictures. What stands out to you there?
Oh, definitely. It's fascinating how consistently people describe this really detailed visualization, like really immersing themselves. For instance, there's the story of a 15-year-old, right? Manifesting a $5,000 lottery win. And they didn't just think about winning. They vividly imagined seeing their numbers printed in the newspaper, actually going to the lottery office to pick up the prize. And then the final step, walking into a bike dealer and paying like $3,500 cash for a motorcycle, just seeing it all happen.
Wow.
And another one, someone preparing for a Korean language contest. They visualized their name being called out, walking up on stage, getting the prize. They even visualized the specific outfit they'd be wearing for the final round, which was going to be in South Korea. The level of detail is pretty amazing.
So it's definitely not just about having a static picture in your head then. It's more like living it out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's much more active than that. We see these examples like the person who manifested an NBA playoff game win. They visualized the winning shot, sure, but they also visualized hearing the announcers yelling, "It's a miracle."
Actually hearing the words.
Yeah. Or someone who won a like $25 Froyo gift card. Small win, maybe. But the process was interesting. They specifically visualized getting a single Instagram DM notification from their building saying they'd won. And they held on to that image even after the date the winners were supposed to be announced had passed. And then they got the message. It really ties into those ideas from Dr. Maxwell Maltz in Psycho-Cybernetics. He talked about the subconscious mind being like this, well, goal-seeking mechanism, like a computer. It works to achieve the pictures in our head, basically.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really judge if they're good or bad. It just goes for the target you give it.
So really making that desired outcome feel completely real in your mind's eye, using all the senses you can.
That's the idea. It's about shaping reality by imagining the outcome you desire and, crucially, experiencing all the outcome sensations in our minds. It's like
Yeah.
you're programming your subconscious. That scene is key. I mean, there was one account, this guy winning $1,600 at a casino. He described it as projecting into the roulette table itself for like 47 minutes.
Wow, 47 minutes. That's intense focus.
It's mental immersion, yeah,
Yeah.
trying to influence the external from the internal.
Okay, so the mental pictures are one thing, but then there's this other layer, which feels really powerful in these stories. It's the feeling, the belief. It's not just thinking it. It's deeply feeling and believing you've already won. How do our sources talk about that emotional connection?
Oh, it's absolutely paramount. Yeah, you see it again and again. One lottery winner, for instance, described this overwhelming feeling of joy and happiness, just pure joy, and also a knowing feeling, they said, that my order was fulfilled, almost like getting a notification from the universe, like a universal download.
Universal download. I like
Yeah,
that.
or a spiritual notification saying it is done.
Yeah.
That's how they put it, before the win actually happened. Others talk about being, quote, healthily obsessed with their goals, where thinking about it just feels natural and exciting. They contrast that with having just lukewarm emotions, which they felt led to, slower results.
So it sounds like a complete immersion. You're not just visualizing, you're living in the feeling of having it already.
Precisely, yeah. That phrase acting as if comes up a lot. People describe consciously acting as if the outcome is already theirs, like almost challenging reality to catch up. This could mean spending money a bit more freely than usual. Or one person who had only $20 celebrated with a huge breakfast, acting like they were already rich.
That takes some guts with only $20.
Right. It's that conviction. There's this phrase, it's already done if you deemed it so. It really sums it up. The belief in that wish-fulfilled state is seen as absolutely crucial. And it even extends to how people see themselves, their identity. You hear affirmations like, I always saw myself as a winner, or I never see competition, it's just an illusion. The core idea seems to be, if you feel perfectly rich and lucky, you will become so.
Okay, these stories of just unwavering belief are really compelling. But, I mean, let's be real. What about doubt? What happens when the results don't show up right away? Do the sources talk about how people handle that frustration or, keep the faith when reality isn't matching up yet?
That's a really important point. And yeah, they do address it. This is where persistence and just sheer unwavering faith really come into play. Several accounts mention, allowing those feelings of frustration to surface, not denying them, but then consciously letting them go and trying again. One person was really explicit. They said, the only thing that was blocking me from winning was my own self-doubts that I worked hard on removing.
So acknowledging the doubt, but not letting it win.
Exactly. The advice you see woven through these stories is pretty consistent. Keep on keeping on, don't waver, and remember that circumstances don't matter. It's about constantly returning to that feeling, that conviction, regardless of what seems to be happening outside.
It feels like there's a bit of a paradox here, though, or maybe a tension. Because on one hand, you're talking about being super specific, like visualizing the exact numbers or the exact car. But on the other hand, there's this idea of completely letting go of the how. How do people navigate that?
Yeah, that is fascinating, isn't it? And honestly, the advice and experiences are a bit mixed here. It's not one size fits all. Some accounts really stress the power of specificity, like the person aiming for a brand new electric SUV parked in my garage. Super specific. And then what happened? After an accident with their old car, they literally got a brand new electric SUV as a loaner car parked in their garage.
Whoa. Okay, that's pretty literal.
Right. It suggests those exact details can manifest.
But then, others found being too specific was actually a problem.
Yes, exactly. It could create resistance for some. One person trying to manifest a lottery win found that getting really attached to a specific amount just led to frustration. So they shifted. They started visualizing having identical numbers to the winning number, focusing on the match rather than the dollar figure. Another person initially wanted a very specific style of car. Didn't happen. It was only when they kind of gave up on the specifics and just said, fine, any car, God, I just need a car, that they manifested a free car.
So sometimes letting go of the details opens the door.
It seems so for some. The message often boils down to set the intention, feel it, visualize it, but then fully let the universe figure all the details out. Trusting it will happen in the best way possible, even if it's not exactly how you pictured the journey. One person even said, the mystery of it all is where the joy lies, suggesting that maybe not knowing the exact path is part of the fun.
Okay, so beyond the mindset, the visualization, the feeling, what about actual practical things people did, like techniques they used to help make these wins happen?
Right, the practical side. Well, the sources show a whole range of methods. Some are pretty standard, things you might expect, like writing desires down. Lots of people mention that. The idea is it helps focus the mind long enough for the desire to anchor. And it supposedly helps subconscious secretly memorize what you're aiming for. Affirmations, too, very common. People repeating phrases like, I'm the jackpot winner, or simply, money wants me.
Simple but powerful if you repeat them enough, I guess. Yeah. Were there any more unusual methods that popped up?
Oh, absolutely. Some definitely stood out. With abundance frequencies they found on a YouTube channel.
Tuning forks. Okay.
Yeah. Others use things like adult coloring books, but ones specifically with money affirmations printed on them, kind of a meditative way to focus. Then there's this technique called state akin to sleep, or ST-ACE. That's where you visualize your wish already fulfilled right as you're drifting off to sleep in that sort of hazy state.
Tapping into the subconscious just before sleep.
Exactly. And prayer and gratitude come up frequently, sometimes with really specific phrases people used, or even physically doing things like placing letters to God in sealed envelopes in places they considered sacred. Another tactic was creating visual proof, like photoshopping their name onto a winning lottery ticket image to make it feel more real and tangible.
And you mentioned something earlier, physical activity. That seems like an odd one. How does exercise fit in?
Yeah, it's a curious theme that popped up more than once. Several accounts mention going to the gym, running, lifting heavy weights, and how that seemed to help the manifestation process.
How so? What was the connection?
Well, the theory offered in these accounts is that during intense exercise, the conscious analytical brain kind of shuts off,
Mhm.
and the subconscious brain starts to get activated. It helps silence the negative thoughts, apparently, and gets you into an amazing mood, a better feeling state. So the idea is that physical activity might actually create a more receptive mental state, maybe like a flow state, that's conducive to manifestation.
Interesting, kind of clearing the mental clutter through physical effort.
Something like that, yeah.
So, wow, we've really covered a lot of ground here, explored all these personal stories, people claiming they've manifested everything from, huge lottery wins down to gift cards, new jobs, cars, and using this blend of really detailed visualization, deep belief, and this whole toolkit of practical techniques.
Yeah, and what becomes really clear, I think, is that even though the specific methods people use can be wildly different, the underlying principles, they're remarkably consistent. Clear intention, unwavering belief, that genuine expectation of success, these are highlighted again and again. So whether you call it law of attraction or mind control or brain control, these accounts all point towards this, well, profound connection between our inner world, our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and what shows up in our external reality.
So thinking about all this, what does it really mean for you listening right now? Maybe it's not just about winning a lottery, although that's a dramatic example. Maybe it's more about cultivating that mindset where you truly, genuinely believe in your own capacity to achieve your goals. Big goal, small goal, doesn't matter. And learning to trust the process, trust the unfolding. What possibilities could open up for you if you started treating your desired future not just as some far-off dream, but as a blueprint that's already taking shape right now in your mind? Something to think about.